Hello there, welcome along. Today is Thursday the 27th of August 2020. This is our 4pm movement snack, our sway and stretch. Now, if you're on catch up and this isn't the one that you want, then go and find the one you want on our Facebook group. You'll find it there, and I'll see you later on the catch up. Just do me a favour, drop us a comment, let us know you've been here. Leave us a little footprint of visiting us. It's always good to know who's been around. The thing with catch up is, of course, you can take a pause, you can have a look at things, you can stop it at any point in time, have a practice of the move that's just been we've just done, and then perfect it. You can also cut through this little bit of preamble where we have a little bit of a catch up on what's been happening, and a little bit of a chin wag. So if you want to cut through that, you can go straight to the start of the snack, but you can always stay as well. It's always good. We try and have a little bit of a exchange of ideas and a bit of a catch up between ourselves, don't we? Let me know when you come on board. I'm going to leave you there if you catch up now. You can stick around if you want, but I'm going to go across to our active people who are joining us live. Let us know when you're coming on board. I can see we've got Christine in. Hi Chris, you alright? Good to have you with us, Mrs. P. Welcome on board, and I know we've got I can't quite make out who the other person is there. I've moved location today. If you saw from my post earlier on, 4 hours in the car. It was only supposed to be a 2-hour journey, but 4 hours in the car was great, lovely. Seems like everybody and their grandma is on the road today. The whole continent seems to be on the road today. So I'm down at my son's, which is in Hilperton, Trowbridge way, so down in Wiltshire, I think. I'm going to get a haircut in a bit, so a different look for me for when you see me next. Say hi, let me know how you are, let me know how things have been. How have you been getting on? You've had a double Bex today, a Bex Bonanza, there we go. We've had a Bex Bonanza today with you here at 8 AM and at 12 noon as well. I'm with you this afternoon. We're trying to keep you going. Good morning, good afternoon, Chris. Welcome along. I hope I'm recovering from much. Yes, I mean it's normally only a couple of hours, 2.5 hours at tops, but we seem to hit loads and loads of traffic jams on the way down this morning. So it turned into a 4-hour road trip. But hey, these things happen, don't they? There's far worse things that can happen. Say hi to me, let me know how you are, where you are. Who's that who's just popped in? Well, that's an interesting picture. It's terrible thing is what you get this little icon in the top of your screen, coming like that. And then you get to see all the blemishes then. I can't quite make out who that is. Ooh. Say hi if you've just joined us. Diana and Fran. What's it, Diana? I don't know. Diana, I've gone for the hat trick. 3 sessions in a row. Blimey, you're on form then. And good afternoon to you, Fran, who's joining us this afternoon as well. Good to have you with us. I've got 3 minutes to go. So, what's happening in your part of the world? It's absolutely bucketing it down, cats and dogs here. It's chucking it down. It was not overly bright when I left home. And it got gradually worse as I came south. And it's bucketing down here now. Hi Maddie, good afternoon to you. Welcome along, raining again where you are. I think there's a good deal of rain across most of the country today, isn't there? Interesting. One of those nice sunny days we've had recently. But hey, the garden needs it. So shout out for all the gardeners out there. The garden will benefit from it. So how have you got on today? Have you managed to get some extra crowbarring in as well? I know you've had Bex twice today. The Bex Bonanza, as I said earlier on, managed to crowbar in some additional activities. So we should be around about at least 30 minutes, possibly getting on to about 40 minutes of additional movement minutes today. This is our third opportunity, our third chance to add some more additional movements in. And our sway and stretch is about focusing on lengthening muscles and getting some extra flexibility and movement into our joints, focusing on those muscles and areas where we can see benefits from the things that we do in everyday life. So, working into our legs and lengthening the muscles in our legs through our stretches can help us with our flexibility. So things like putting socks on, all those sorts of things, picking things up off the floor. The sway motion, we do a lot of three-dimensional movements throughout the whole of our day, but we never actually stop and think about it. So here's an opportunity to actually focus on those movements, and for our brain to be practicing the movement of the process of moving three-dimensionally, thinking about which muscles have got to loosen, which muscles have got to tighten, where is our supporting parts of the body, and what are our moving parts of the body, and how do they interact with each other. All those sorts of things we do naturally, but it's a good opportunity for the brain to focus on it and to learn. Christine, it's raining where you are, you're saying. The rain has stopped, sorry. It has been raining. Believe it or not, you've got sunshine. Don't know how long for, though. Fingers crossed it stays for a while for you. Carol, good afternoon to you. Heavy rainfall where you are as well. You're ready for your sway and stretch. I know I am. Right, folks, it is 4 o'clock, so let's have our 3, 2, 1, shall we? Before we do that, we'll say a quick good afternoon to Wendy, who's in a damp Shrewsbury, who's got me on Bluetooth. Ooh, hello. So, if you want to lose the comments, swipe them to the right and they're gone. You get the full head-to-toe image then. So good afternoon everybody, my name is Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Thursday the 27th of August 2020. This is our third movement snack of the day. It's 4 p.m. and it's our opportunity to have a sway and stretch. There's 2 elements in there. Can I think of a 1 to put in there? I can't know. So it's our third opportunity to add additional movement minutes to our day. And this is over and above what is our already active days. We're going to do our sway and stretch, so our 3-dimensional movement firstly and then some stretching. We need to decide whether we're going to do it in a standing position or a seated position. Now if we're in a standing position, we want an active standing position, so make sure that you're standing tall and you've got some external fixed support around you. If you're in a seated position, then in an active seated position. Before we do anything else though, we need to set our posture. So for our standing position, we are standing with our heels in line with our knees, and our knees are in line with our hips. Grow an extra couple of inches from your hips. So lift tall from your hips, giving yourself an extra couple of inches between your ribs and your hips. Lift your shoulders up, take them back, press them down together and tall through our neck. So imagine a piece of string pulling you nice and tall. In our seated position, then we come from the back of the chair into the front third. So a hip walk into the front third of the chair. Feet are flat on the floor again, and we're lifting up through our buttocks firstly, and then growing these extra couple of inches between our ribs and our hips. Lifting the shoulders up, back, and pressing down, sitting tall. From there, let's start with a heel lift off the floor. So coming up onto the ball of the foot and the toe. Starting with our circulation booster. So just getting us moving a little bit more and boosting that circulation. If you feel comfortable with it, let's take it to a march. So we're going to lift the foot off the floor just a little way, but pointing the toes towards the floor as we come down. So as we bring the foot up, we peel the heel off, we peel the ball of the foot off, and then we peel the toes off. And then in reverse, toes come down first, onto the ball of the foot, and then through to the heel. A lot of action happening into our hip flexors here, so we've got some knee movement, we've got some hip movement. That can become a little bit tiring into our hip flexors especially. So you can either come back down in your seated position to a heel lift, and a foot pedal, or a toe tap in front. Just tapping that toe in front and then bringing it back in. In our standing position, we've got our external support, and you can see from here that march, you can see that movement a little bit clearer as I lift the foot slightly off the floor, peeling the ball off after the heel, and then the toes coming off, and then coming down onto the toes, rolling through to the ball of the foot and through to the heels. Focusing onto our posture, standing tall the whole time. Now let's put an arm movement in there as well. So we're moving the arm from our shoulder, and if I just come in so you can see this movement, can you see how the movement generates from our shoulder? So elbow is driving backwards to really mobilise through the shoulder, and the elbow is staying in. If you feel steady and stable in standing position and in your seated position, let's bring both arms in. In standing position, if you are utilising your support, then every now and again take a little pause, as many steps as you need, to change direction for your support, and off you go with the other arm. If of course you're facing into your support, then you can stop the arm swing, gain your support again before you bring the other arm in. Another option for you in both standing or seated, while you're doing your march, fingertips together, driving the elbow backwards in a sort of canoeing type motion. So again, we're still focusing onto that shoulder movement, driving the elbow backwards. A minute or a couple of minutes of that, and we should feel as though we want to take a couple of deep breaths, a deep breath or a couple of deep breaths, just to regain ourselves, and we'll move into our sway. Okay, so from our sway position. So we did our arms yesterday, and then we had a brief look at both arms and legs together. So have a look and decide how you want to do this. Standing with my support available to me, I'll show you that firstly, then I'll give you the options in a seated position. So in standing, what I'm going to do is bring one hand up and take it down, and the other hand comes up and down. Just to remind you that first, remember your option is you can take one hand up and float it down, and then take the other one up afterwards. Have a look at the full movement. So I step forward heel toe, taking the hand up and then bringing it down as I move the weight onto the back foot. Coming forward again, raising the hand up. As I come back in, I step in. I step out to the side, toe down to heel, shifting the weight across as we hug the tree, back into the centre and coming down, and then stepping out on the other side. Palm is towards the floor as we come down, and then it comes up towards the ceiling as we come back in, and we shift that weight. Now the important thing with this shift of weight is that we don't step outside of our balance area. So the knee never goes outside the side of the foot or forward more than the toes. Okay, from the top again, we come forward, slow, controlled movements the whole time. Just working our way through, stepping in and across, bringing the arms out, hugging the tree, opening up across the top of the back, coming back into the centre and arms back down on the other side. The foot that goes forward is the arm that lifts firstly. You can just control that movement, shifting your weight from side to side. Stepping out to the side, toe through to heel, and the arms come round. We shift the weight across, we come back in, and we open up and bring it back down. Okay, so there's our movement. In our seated position, exactly the same movement, but we need to look at our upper body. So, sitting in the front third of our chair, the first thing we're going to do, hands are going to be by the side, probably better here for you, it can be here. It can be as big or a smaller movement as you want, both in standing or seated. So again, stepping forward, heel toe, bringing the hand up, and then a hip hinge. Can you see the hinge hipping? Hip hinging even. So that little hip hinge there, as I bring the hands back down, I step in, out to the side and shift the weight from one buttock to the other. So we've still got that shift of weight in there, but we're shifting the weight across from our buttocks. So remember I talked about sitting tall in your chair. There's your motion. Yeah, with that hip hinge, shifting the weight forward and back, and as you're coming back in this time, the foot steps in, toe heel, out to the side and shift the weight across, toe to heel, cross to the other side, back in again, into the centre, arms down and stepping in. Okay, so there's your standing and seated options. The only other thing to remember is if you need to utilise support in standing, then just focus onto one side at a time. So you'll step forward, you'll just do that one arm, shifting the weight still from forward to back, and rather than changing to your other leg when you've finished your sway, step out, bring it round to the front, still do your shift of weight from side to side, and then bring yourself back in, take as many steps as you need to turn, and then do it on the other side. So, seated or standing, you decide. Let's do it through one more time each way together so you can have a look at it and experience it. Alright, so whichever foot you want to step forward onto, that is fine. Step with your heel and lift the arm up. Controlled motion, shifting the weight back, and we're changing the flow of those arms. They're relaxed. Stepping out to the side, toe heel, shifting the weight across and back. So we keep our arms long as we're making those movements out and up and down, but the elbows are relaxed. It's a slow, controlled movement. And remember, as always, whatever the range of motion is for you, that is the right range of motion. Your motion, your pace and your range is exactly the same range. So here we're opening across the top of the back. We're stepping back in and resetting. One more time, shall we? So heel toe, shifting that weight forward and backwards. The feet are staying totally on the floor here, so I'm not lifting the heels or the toes at all as I move. So that's another point for you as far as that movement and the length of that step is concerned. Both feet stay on the floor the whole time, so we don't have to lift the foot. Heel toe, and that shift of weight from side to side, coming back in and stepping out on the other foot to the side, toe, heel, shifting the weight, pushing away, hugging the tree. So you open up across the top of the back and then bring it back in, reset, and there we go. So there's your sway movement. Have a look at it again, practice it through. So we've got both the arms and legs together for you to work on there. From there, let's go into our stretches. So we're going to start with our calf. In a standing position with your support available, what you're going to do is take a big step backwards on one foot. Heel comes down to the floor after you've placed the toe down. So toe goes down firstly, roll it through to the heel. We're facing in the same direction with our toes. We're going to bend that front knee to lean into it. Straight line look from the head down to the heel. That gives us the stretch in the calf. So that's your standing position. In our seated position, in our front third of the seat, we're going to take the foot away in front. Okay? Heel down, toes up, and what we do is we ease the heel away as we bring the toes towards us. This knee is soft, we're not looking at it. So if I lock it outward, can you see how it straightens? Bless you. Bless you. Just my son having a sneeze in the background. So if I lock the knee out, you can see how the leg straightens. So it's slightly soft, and we can feel that stretch, like lengthening in the calf. So choose whether you're going to do it with standing or seated. Off you go. Put this foot out so you can see it. Remember, ease the heel away or step back and then lean into it by bending your front knee. If you're in standing, the front knee comes no further forward than your shoes. You're going to hold this for 12 to 20 seconds. Feel the lengthening of the muscle in the back of your leg, and then once you've done that, release and bring the foot back in and feel the stretch end. That's really, really important. Other leg. Into it, slide away, toes in. We're sitting tall, we're still focusing onto our posture, and we've got that lengthening through the back of the leg. If you start to feel yourself coming down, reset, shoulders back, sitting and standing tall. Come out of it and feel the stretch ending again. Alright, so I'll show you in seated firstly, and then we'll move to our standing position for our back of the thigh. So in the front third of the chair, we're going to take the foot out, toes down, heels down, sorry, again, toes are up but relaxed. Just take this chair back a little bit further so you can see the foot more clearly. There we go. Alright, relax your toes this time. Now, we're sitting tall, but we're going to lift a little bit extra. So lift taller, hands on the bent knee, and hinge from your hip to come forward. You should feel a stretch into the back of your thigh. If you can feel it in your calf as well, relax your toes a little bit more. All right? So that's your seat. In standing, then what we do is we step forward on that foot, lift a little bit taller again, so stand tall, and hinge from your hip again. Can you see that hinge? So there's no bending at the waist, it's all from my hip, straight line down from my back, bottom up to the back of my head. And you can feel that lengthening through the back of the leg. So standing or seated, choose which one you prefer. Pop yourself into the right position, so bring the foot in, either stepping forward or taking the heel out in front, relaxing your toes. Hinge from your hip after you've lifted taller and feel that stretch. Now, the lift firstly lengthens the muscle to start off with, so it comes from our bottom down to the back of our knee. So that little lift, sitting taller or standing taller, starts that stretch off. If you feel it starting to ease a little bit, take a deep breath in And hinge a little bit further, or in standing position, push your bottom away a little bit more. And just feel that lengthening a bit more. Once you've reached to 12 to 20 seconds, come on up, stand in and feel the stretch ending. So feel that lengthening of the muscle completing itself. Change to your other leg. Now, in standing, if you want to have a go without support, have it available. We step forward, we lift from our hips, we tip forward, and we put our hands onto the bent knee on the other side. This knee is straight, I'm still just hinging at the hip and I'm pushing the bottom out, holding it there for that 12 to 20 seconds. And again, if you feel it ease, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, push away a little bit further. It's not necessarily about tipping too far further forward, it's about pushing back, just lengthening through the back of the leg. Once you've done that, come on up, feel the stretch ending, and then let's have a look at the back of the arm and into the side of the body for us, okay? So here we are, in our seated position, and if you're coming from standing to seated, so let me show you that firstly. So let's all come to seated position. So from standing to seated, feel the chair behind, lower with control into the chair, and then take a hip walk into the front third of the chair. Okay, reposition this for you. So we place one hand onto our shoulder and we ease the elbow up, walking the fingers down the back of the shoulder blade. Now from there, we either bring the hand down, lift the shoulder a little bit further and lean across slightly, or take the arm up towards the ceiling, hand down and reach taller. And what we're doing is lengthening these muscles down through the side of our body. So the lateral muscles, and also the muscles that come in between your rib cage. Help the hand down and change to the side. So fingers onto the shoulder, walk them down. Either lift a little bit and lean, or take it all the way up and then reach taller. So these muscles between your rib cage, they help with your breathing, the inhalation and exhalation. So they're working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. So giving them a little treat by giving them a good stretch. And then finish off with one of Bex's famous hugs. Come on in, open up across the top of the back, take it out and open across the front, come back the other side, and then let's hold it this time. So again, bring it around, just have a little hug there, opening up across the top of the back, releasing out and opening up across the top of the back on the other side. Fantastic. That feels good. Certainly after that long drive, that feels really good. From there, have a little roll of the shoulders just to release those. And there we are, we're done. That is our swaying stretch for a Thursday afternoon. Have a practice of it, have a go at it. Crowbar in some additional activities. From here on in, keep mobility and keep movement onto your radar for the rest of the day. Think about your posture as well. So think about standing tall and growing those few extra inches to make yourself taller. So not only making, but thinking taller. That's me done for this week. I'm not with you tomorrow and I've got the weekend off, so I won't see you until next week now. I can't remember, I think I'm on 12 noons next week. But you've got Bex and Kelsey very kindly covering for me over the next few days. Have a great evening, have a great few days, and I will see you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.